What's up? It is Sammertime, and I'm going to break down the clothing that I'm bringing with me on the trail for 5,000 miles from Canada to Key West. Before I get into the clothes I'm bringing, I do want to give a quick refresher and a shout out to Sawyer, who I'm not sponsored by or anything, but definitely giving them the product placement. This is permethrin spray. If you go out in the woods for an extended period of time and you don't know what permethrin spray is, you should check it out for sure. It's a treatment that you can put on any clothing or gear, on your sleeping bag, your shoes, your socks, your hat. If your tent is cloth that will absorb liquid, you could do it on that too. It doesn't mess with waterproofing finishes or anything. But this is a bottle of liquid. It's a little bit kind of milky looking in there. Bada bing, bada boom. And you spray until saturated your articles of clothing or your gear. And this is good for, it'll last for 7 washings. It's the agitation that removes the treatment, not necessarily like the soap and water. So yeah, if you don't wash them, they can last for up to 41 days. And I have used this treatment. It's cheap too. It's like $10 or $15 for a bottle this big, and this will do, I think, 2 full outfits, so like 6 garments. You can get it at Walmart or online or whatever. But because I've used it on other hikes, never had a tick bite, had just, you know, minimal mosquito bites and stuff, so I really recommend it. But since this trail is going to take me over 200 days, I didn't know how I would go about retreating my clothing, because I knew, you know, it would be permethrin. This treatment would be worn off by the time I got to Florida, you know, way down the road, and then mosquitoes would be a problem again. So just through some forums online, I found out about Insect Shield, which is a company that will treat your clothing for you. And this stuff lasts for 6 months or 70 washings. Which is pretty much the life of a garment. So it is more expensive, obviously, than buying the bottles. However, if you're going to buy, you know, 4 bottles of this stuff to get, you know, 2 outfits, a sleeping bag, and maybe your backpack, shoes, and tent, it's not that big of a difference in price, especially considering how long it lasts. So I researched it and was ready to hit them up for service, and I looked at the address, and it's right here in Greensboro, North Carolina, where I live. So I called them up, and they said I could come in and drop off in person, pick up in person, avoiding a 3-week turnaround time, getting it in like 2 days. They were done, and I didn't have to pay for shipping or anything. They still let me use the flat rate envelope, which you can stuff as much stuff into, and they will treat everything in that envelope for a flat rate. So I got all these clothes done for about $78. This is all fit into an envelope that they gave me, and that's just a flat rate, $75 for the envelope, plus tax, obviously. But I'm happy that all my clothing will be treated as a repellent. It's the same chemical, pretty much, as what permethrin is, the chemical, I believe. What Insect Shield uses is permethrin. But anyway, psyched about that. Glad to learn out about it. It's a little bit, like I said, barely more expensive than doing the other treatment, but worth it in my book. So let's get into it. I showed you in my gear unloading video this bag. It's a Z-Packs, Cuban fiber on the outside, Velcro closure, and one side has fleece lining, the other is just plain Cuban fiber. You turn it inside out at night, and you can stuff it full of all your clothes, and it's a pillow that's soft on one side. It's about 2 ounces. Even though I'm not going to use it inside my backpack, because I'm going to let my clothes kind of compress and form fit to the backpack liner instead of being in this bulky turd, it'll just be floating by itself until nighttime when I fill it. All right, so sock situation, always super important. I'm using Injinji toe socks. They're made originally to go with those 5-finger toe shoes, but you certainly do not have to use them with those, because I don't like those shoes. So these are my liner socks. These are Injinji New Wool, N-U-W-O-O-L. So it's a blend, about 49% wool with some polyesters in there. Those are going underneath, and then my socks on top are Darn Tough Vertex. These are not the cool mesh. These are the wool 49% wool blend. They also have a cool mesh version, which is less wool and more polyester. So these all together on my feet. And just a side note about the insect shield thing, if you end up doing it, didn't know this, but they do print their logo on your clothing if it doesn't have a spot for them to sew in a label, which they will do, and I'll show you. Wasn't really hyped about that since I didn't know it was going to happen. I'm going to have to cut all the labels out. I guess the printing doesn't really matter, but I just wish I had known. I don't know if it's like to cover their ass because it's a chemical treatment. They got to like put it on there, but who knows. So these are my socks while I'm hiking. They're backup socks. I do take an extra 2 pair. You know, these are extras. And, I have the same thing on my feet during the day, and then I'll just rotate them to keep one relatively drier than the other. At night, I will put on these socks. These are compression socks. They're by Skinner's. It's not, you know, it's just a regular company I found online or whatever. I don't know much about them other than these work. I did develop some plantar fasciitis on the last hike. I'm bringing a stretch band this time, and in addition to that, I'm bringing compression socks for recovery at night. I'll just keep the blood in the area, and hopefully my feet will not be quite as sore and heal a little faster. These are Patagonia Cap 1, Capoline 1. That's their lightest weight synthetic material that they make. These are Long Johns. They are lighter than last year's Long Johns, which I found to be overkill when I took to Florida with me. They weigh less, and also now that they've been treated with the insect shield, they're going to be my bug protection during the day when I'm hiking through the mosquitoes and black flies. This is also a Patagonia Cap 1 base layer. This is a long sleeve shirt. It's about half the weight of the long sleeve shirt I took to Florida, which was an 8-ounce 100% merino wool top. So lighter weight, and again will serve in warm weather as bug protection since it's been treated. And let me see if I can find that. Oh yeah, here it is. So a full sewn in on top of the other labels that are already in the shirt that I haven't cut yet. Insect Shield sewed their own in for that. What do you do? Instead of bringing a backup pair of shorts, I'm going to have 1 pair of shorts for hiking in, which has a brief liner in it, like underwear. And then at night, instead of packing a heavier pair of shorts, this is just a pair of wool boxer briefs that, you know, weigh about, I want to say 2 or 3 ounces, so less than a big pair of shorts with all the waistband stuff and everything. So this is just something that's wool. It's naturally odor resistant and antibacterial. It's cold when you're warm, and it's warm when you're cold. So I think it'll be really nice to sleep in and kind of get refreshed feeling and clean feeling. Toboggan, same toboggan I've had for years. It goes on every hike with me. It weighs about 1 ounce. This happens to be the Z-Pax fleece toboggan. Again with the wool for sleeping, so I'm only bringing 1 shirt to hike in, and that is a lightweight polyester shirt, a Cap 1 shirt as well from Patagonia. And then I'll have a wool shirt. This is an Icebreaker Tech Tee. It's very thin, you can almost see through it. Merino wool t-shirt for sleeping in. Again, like when you put on fresh wool, like you can just feel it kind of pull the nastiness off your body. So that's going to be really a nice thing to sleep in. It's the lightest weight merino wool shirt I can find. It comes in right around 4 ounces. This is a Buff. I've never hiked with these before, but I know people that have, and they look pretty good at what they do. I've had one for around town, just for cold weather, hiking and walking over my face. And then this summer in training, I've been using it hanging down my back out of my hat, because on the Florida trail, the back of my neck got lit up. So this will serve a few purposes. It's just over 1 ounce. Also been treated with Insect Shield. These are some shorts by Luke's Ultralight. They are pretty much just made out of plastic. You can find the material at a craft store for real cheap. It's just super lightweight. It's got a elastic drawstring waistband. I think these weigh under 1 ounce actually, or maybe just over, but they would not be comfortable hiking in or lounging in because they don't breathe at all and you sweat all over them. But something you can wear while you do all your laundry, since they literally, it's like a kite material. So I'll just pop them on when I'm waiting for laundry to be done, since they will never get dirty themselves. This is one of the 3 big purchases I made for this hike. This is a Mountain Hardwear Ghost Whisperer hooded jacket. It's about 8 ounces, I think 8.4 in the large with the hood. The great thing about this jacket is it does have a DWR water resistant finish on it, but it's not waterproof. You gotta put a shell over it, obviously, and moisture. But because down is not a super great insulator in wet environments, different companies are trying to combat that property of down with different technologies. And what Mountain Hardwear is using for the fill in this jacket, which I believe is 850 fill down, which is a pretty puffy down feather, but they're using hydrophobic down, to where the feathers themselves have been treated with a chemical that is, hydrophobic, afraid of water, and it resists water and repels it. So each little plume, there's pictures online of the feather, each little quill has been coated in this material, so it helps the down retain its loft in humid and rainy environments. So I'm hoping, I've only had this jacket for a few months. It's a really expensive jacket too, and I waited till I found it on sale. I'm glad I got it before the hike started. I'm the 3rd owner of this jacket. So one guy bought it and returned it to REI, another guy bought it at a REI yard sale, and then I bought it from him. So I got quite the discount on it. It's still not a cheap jacket, but I'm hoping that it'll perform in those wet conditions. My down jacket definitely lost some of its performance capabilities in Florida last year in those just humid conditions. It wasn't even raining, it just, you just get permeated by moisture down there. So hoping that'll do a little better. All right, next we've got a rain jacket, and this is the other big high dollar clothing item that I invested in for this trip. It's the Z-Packs Vertice rain jacket. There are lighter weight jackets out there. I believe this one weighs about 5.2 ounces, somewhere around there if I'm not mistaken. But the thing that sets it apart is how breathable it is. It's got the highest vapor transfer rating of any rain jacket on the market. And regardless of how lightweight and waterproof your rain jacket is, if you sweat from the inside and your heat and body vapor can't escape, then you're just as wet on the inside as you would be if it was raining on you. So that's where all rain jackets end up failing. I've had the chance to wear this in a few rainstorms already, and it is incredible. Just how light it feels on you and how you just don't feel clammy under it at all. So big ticket item, the most expensive thing I bought for this coming up trip, but I'm going to be outside for a long time and I want to stay dry, so worth it. And bringing this little rain kilt. It's also Z-Packs. It's like a little dress you put on if it starts raining. Now just keep my shorts dry, my junk dry, help me not chafe. It weighs just under 2 ounces, or right around 2 ounces, so not a big weight penalty there. That is everything that I have backed up. And this is the biggest category of all my gear, at right about 3 pounds of that category being in my backpack. As far as what I'm wearing on my body while I'm hiking, we've got Ultra Lone Peak 3.5s on my feet. These are not as comfortable as the 2s or the 2.5s, but they do seem to be a lot more durable. They just feel like more material surrounding your foot, good or bad. I do have custom insoles in there to try to help me deal with some plantar fasciitis issues, which just give me a little bit of arch support. I'm wearing a knee brace on my right knee. I had an accident years and years ago. It's always been a little weaker. It always flares up in hikes, and since it's worn weight, and I had insurance this year and saw a doctor about my foot, he recommended I take this too. I'm gonna go ahead and try that out. I've used it on training hikes and it does feel really good on my knee. This is my Old Faithful cap, high visibility. It's also been treated with insect shield now. This is the shirt I was telling you about, synthetic Cap 1 shirt from Patagonia. Weighs less than 3 ounces, I think. Dries really quickly, insect shield treated now. And these are the shorts I'm wearing. It's got a quick drying synthetic material on the outside. These shorts are from Icebreaker. They're called Strike Light shorts. It's got holes for ventilation you can't really see. But where it really shines is the liner, the brief, the underwear. And this is wool, merino wool. It's a blend, but it's the highest percentage of wool. And so naturally odor absorbing, moisture wicking, and bacteria resistant. I cannot seem to chafe in these shorts, and that is awesome. I've been wearing them a lot on training hikes, and no matter how sweaty I get, I'm always comfortable down below. This is a wide brim hat. Never really hiked with anything like this before, but because I feel that a head net for mosquitoes and black flies and stuff is going to be so important, especially in the north through Canada and Maine, I'm probably going to bring this for the first like 700 miles of my hike. The head net works with the baseball cap, but it just kind of hangs on your face, and you know, you can hear them buzzing around, and they could possibly make contact with your skin through it if it's not, the net isn't like away from your face. So I'm still on the fence about this. It's possibly end up in my bag just to keep the head net more controlled while I'm out there. But yeah, that's all the clothing, which again makes up the biggest portion of my backpack weight. But happy with all the choices, excited for the insect shield treatment. Y'all check them out, insectshield.com, I believe, Greensboro, North Carolina. And yeah, I think I probably have more than I need, but I'll be super comfortable. Bye.